Hello, this is Blade77, and today I am doing another weekly roundup. The game I'm playing this week is Minecraft, and I will be talking about gun control, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the AG, Loretta Lynch, talking to former President Bill Clinton when she should not have, and whether or not it's a good thing that Hillary was not indicted, and monopolies. So, starting with gun control. I recently read an article on Slashdot about the CDC and whether or not it was actually looking into gun control things. By the way, for those who are wondering, I didn't know that you didn't have to jump up one block anymore. Does it mean that I can jump 2 blocks now? No. Huh. Is that an option? Controls. Auto jump on. Okay, that's a new option. Anyway, back to what I'm talking about, what's running me up. So, the paper by the CDC did not find a correlation between guns and deaths, per se. When guns are available for people to kill themselves, there is a higher incidence of suicides, but most everyone who is intending to kill themselves will find another way to kill themselves. One thing that I didn't specifically look for, but I would anticipate is in the report, is accidental deaths due to guns. So, Tommy gets a gun and accidentally shoots himself in the head. Now, is that going to be higher than it is in countries that do not allow firearms? Yes. That's just the nature of the beast. But if you're worried about people accidentally killing themselves with something, you also have to be worried about stuff like cars, just dehydration. There's a whole bunch of stuff you have to worry about if you're worried about people accidentally killing themselves. Suicides you can't do much about. Muggings, that's kind of iffy. Some muggers just won't mug people if there's a chance that they might have a gun. Others will mug anyone, regardless. But beyond that, the CDC's report did not read as pro-gun control, which is surprising given that they have in the past indicated that they would like to see more gun control. Now, might they be wrong? Yes. But they might not be. On to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the TPP. I really don't like it, and that's mostly due to the copyright terms that it would be putting in place. I'm not a fan of the way copyright is handled. As far as I'm concerned, copyright is less valuable than patents, and patents are only 20 years. So I honestly don't see why you would have something that is ultimately useless, at least for fictional books, be longer than something that's useful, or in this case, patents. Are there arguments for and against? Yes. But I think the arguments should be more against than for. Presidential candidate Clinton has stated that she no longer supports the TPP. If that's true, that is good. However, it may not be true. She has been a politician for most of her life, so I have no idea if it's a case of she really believes something or she thinks that's what voters wants to hear. I hope she no longer believes that the TPP is a good thing, but that might not be the case. Yeah. I am not a fan of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The EFF, or Electronic Frontier Foundation, has a pretty decent website on stuff like that. I'd recommend that you give them a read. I'll put a link in the description for them. I might be able to actually put a link in the video as an annotation. I have to put a link, if I do put a link in my video, it has to be to a non-profit or to a website that I own at this point in time. On to the AG. She did something really stupid by talking to former President Bill Clinton. I mean, it may have been innocent. It probably was innocent, but it's the appearance that really makes it bad. I don't think anyone would have cared if she'd done it after Clinton was either indicted or not. But just didn't look good when she did it before the FBI even handed down the recommendation. Speaking of which, the FBI recommendation for the investigation was to not prosecute, because they do not think that a reasonable prosecutor would prosecute. Now, why they think that, I don't know. It could be that they just don't think it's that important. It could also be that they don't think that they'll be able to find a unbiased grand jury, which is definitely a possibility. I really don't think that you'll be able to find an unbiased jury, at least as far as Clinton is concerned. She has been a political figure for years, and that pretty much means that people either like her or hate her. Because of that, I really don't think that she would have gotten a fair trial, which is rather unfortunate. That might be why the FBI decided to not recommend an indictment. And that would be entirely understandable as far as I'm concerned. That said, I don't think she'll have a security clearance for much longer if she still has one even. She did recklessly endanger state secrets. The FBI director used much the same language that a judge uses when describing gross negligence in his, I guess, speech or statement earlier today. That being, Clinton was extremely careless in handling information. So that's not particularly good for Clinton. Now, might she be okay? Yes. But she's going after mostly cat's got my tongue. Independent voters. That's who she really has to be going at for in order to win this upcoming election, especially in states like Colorado. On to monopolies. This is triggered by Elizabeth Warren, a potential, let me stress that, potential running mate for Hillary Clinton. The basic gist is that Warren doesn't like monopolies, and she's specifically taking aim at Amazon, Apple, and Google. And she does have a point in that they are monopolies in some aspects. Apple isn't as much of a monopoly as, say, Amazon. Amazon has almost a virtual lock on the ebook market. And DRM, which is part of copyright law and which would have been expanded under the TPP, is a major aspect of what keeps Amazon as dominant as it is. I don't think that Amazon would be as dominant if it did not have DRM, because it means that people wouldn't be locked into their store. Now, the same thing goes for Barnes & Noble and most other booksellers. They almost all have DRM of some form or another. But at the same time, it is exceedingly easy, albeit illegal, to remove that DRM. My grandmother could probably figure out how to remove it in an hour or so, just using Google. She'd have to install a couple programs, which I have told her not to in the past, but she could get rid of DRM fairly easily. And then she'd go to jail due to the DMCA. But yeah, I really don't like monopolies. In the computer space, one of the biggest monopolies is Microsoft and Microsoft Office. Microsoft Windows has a lock on like 95% or so of the global desktop market share. Estimated. Could be a bit more, could be a bit less. And that's mostly because no one really has sales figures on Linux. They have hard numbers for Mac, they have hard numbers for Windows PCs. Whether or not people are actually using Windows or Mac on the computer they get, they don't know, but it's a good baseline for what people are running. Anyway, thank you for watching this second Wednesday Woundup. Have a good night, and goodbye.